Welcome
Welcome.
to Shade and the City. I'm so proud of us. It is a Sunday, y'all, and we are recording a Love and Marriage Huntsville review. We are
That's
doing
because that's
good.
that's because we done with power. That's why.
That's because we're done with Power and we're done with Ready to Love and everything Friday. So,
Mhm.
yeah. But aren't y'all happy y'all get to see us a little bit earlier in the week? So, we just want to thank y'all for being here for Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is, don't get me lying, I sent it to you. It is season 6, episode 9, ready to pop off. Okay. So, if you have not already, Shade Squad, make sure you pop off and hit that like button.
And that subscribe button.
And y'all, let's get into it because, as Marceau said, he wanted to pop off for it even being said. Okay, I love Marceau. I really do. I know, I know the audience may not agree, and I don't love everything
I
about
will
it,
say that he's
but
funny.
I
That
do
doesn't mean I
think
love
he's probably
Marcel.
my favorite. He makes this show. I'm sorry for me. Marceau makes this show enjoyable. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say it. But anyway, let's get into it and let's get shady. We see Tisha and Marceau, they are finally realizing that it's still going to take another 2 to 3 years to complete Scott Manor. So apparently they're packing up their house now that they're in to move into an apartment because they're going to make some slight renovations to the house that they're in and then they're going to move back in. I said, it must be nice to have money to do all this moving, but if I had all that money to move, I'd have all the money to hire movers and packers. That's
That
just
too. And I don't know if I would actually like move into an apartment. Did it like with a lease? Like,
I don't know, maybe, but they own buildings, so they probably can move into an empty apartment in one of their buildings and it'd be nothing.
I guess. I just felt like it would
Yeah,
be
they're
easier.
resourceful. I ain't
I
mad at it.
I
Shout out to the Scots for being
I would
resourceful.
have been more I would have been more lazy than that. I would have tried to move into an Airbnb or something.
Mm.
I
Well,
want the stuff already there. I don't want to move nothing.
well, that part. So Marcel brings up how he didn't realize Tiffany wasn't screwed too tight. He explains to Tisha about the sit down with Martell and what she said to Sheree. And they both bring up Tiffany cheated on her first husband. So the nerve of her to go and say something about Martell. And Marceau says that Tiffany is a habitual line stepper, and
And
she
she is.
absolutely is because I have one in my house. I know it when I see it. Marceau goes on to tell Tisha how she asked Sheree if she thought that the it was popping. And that's what kept Martell in line. So Tisha is shocked that that particular word was used. And he shares about how then Tiffany then said she was asking these things because she said she liked blended families. Love Marcel.
Like she looked me dead in the eyes and told me she asked that because
I loved it.
she likes blended families.
If
That
that man don't do nothing else, he's funny. So Tisha believes that Tiffany thinks it's because of her pretty privilege. That she thinks she can basically say what comes to her mind and with no consequences. And I
Marcel
was
said
like,
she got to be. He said she
I
got to
don't
be
know
a
if it's
reporter.
pretty privilege, but I definitely could say that's definitely what she does. She just speaks what she wants to say and don't care how it affect nobody else. But Lord, God forbid you say something to her.
Yeah, that ain't none of your business. And then
Right.
you coming at her with everything but what we were supposed to be discussing.
Right. Well, no, because you remember that time when Maurice and Kimmy came at them and
About
they
what she's
wanted to hear.
about what she did.
Right, right. Bless her
About
heart.
Monster. Hmm.
So then Tiffany runs home to play the Karen role like Marceau accused her of last episode. And she tells Louis she was ambushed by Martell and Marceau, and she
Not
was there to
Amber.
talk about, yes, my notes say ambushed. And and that she was there to talk about the Selma, celebration. It ended up having being ambushed about a conversation she had with Sheree. And Lewis agrees that, Sheree should have addressed her if she was upset. And Tiffany tells Lewis he needs to check his friends. And Lewis doesn't understand why they didn't come to him and assures Tiffany that they're gonna feel it this time. I might have been soft, first go round, but I got you. And I was like, Lewis, stop. Stop. You know who you're married to.
I just listen, it was the thanks, honey, you're my protector for me. I said, oh my gosh, she is just gassing this man up. And then I thought it was funny that
The
Tisha,
gaslighting of it all.
she's like, I don't even know what to do. I don't even know how to act. I gotta go to this girl's baby shower. You know what this man told her? Go on, be messy, baby. I was messy. You go on.
Oh, that's funny. I missed that part.
He said, spill that tea. Go on and be messy. I said, oh my God. Then Kimmy and Maurice are on their way to what I believe was a radiation appointment.
Yeah, I thought so too.
She seems to be in really good spirits, and she says it's because she's on the last leg of the situation. She said
Amen to that.
she has hair growing back in various places. Apparently this was making her feel self-conscious because, she was losing her hair. She also brings up how sex is a huge thing for Maurice. And because of this situation, she has like literally no libido. It's non-existent. But she tells him that, when they do have sex, basically it's for him. So he feels like, she's been pretending this whole time, and she lets him know, baby, I did what I got to do to
get
you off,
you through, right?
make you finish. Then she meets up with her
Look
friend.
at her being unselfish,
right? But he apparently he doesn't want this. He wants her to initiate it when she's in the mood, and
she's like, well, you be waiting.
I think what he didn't understand was that she does not have those feelings anymore now that she's on these drugs.
Right.
And there will be no initiation, sir. So you better take what you can get. So then she meets up with her friend Andrea, who she's also telling about these side effects. And she says that she thought that it would be great to have a conversation with Maurice about it, and Maurice was feeling some way about her faking it. And Andrea reassures her that yes, you need to let him know that you are serving him, okay? And that she should continue to do that because she doesn't want to end up in
another situation.
Exactly. We know how that goes. And then,
according to Mel, you can still be doing it, and they still.
Apparently, for Martell, it's all about the head. It's all about the head.
All about the head.
Whatever. But why would you want to do that when you think it's going somewhere else? So then Kimmy basically says that she thinks a part of it is the fact that, she doesn't feel sexy.
With the loss of her hair and stuff like that, she's like, it's hard to be in that mood.
Yeah, but she says that she's just ready for this all to be in her past. So
Lewis and Tiffany host the grand baby shower for baby Ace. I felt like it was their home, but maybe it wasn't their house. I don't know. I was confused. I thought it was their house at first.
I thought it was too.
But Tisha shows up without Marceau, and everyone wants to know where he is. Tisha shares that Martell and Marceau weren't really feeling her and felt what Tiffany did was a little bit rude, so she doesn't know what they coming.
She did what her husband told her to do.
Right.
Be male.
I ain't even realize, like I said, I didn't catch that part because I didn't even realize that, but she damn sure did. She knew the assignment. So Mel pulls up to the table and they'll ask if they're okay, continuing this conversation with Mel at the table. And Mel said she wasn't gonna feel no way, but then once they got into it, Mel excuses herself because she says she don't want no part of it. Now, what y'all think? Did it really bother me, or she just really didn't care to hear it? I don't know.
I think it was what they were discussing. It was about the at that time it was about the her mentioning you think your pussy is good enough to keep him around. And Mel didn't want to have no parts of that conversation. But when she came back to the table, Stormy brought her some tea about how Sheree might have been out here saying she was a whole fan.
Right. But you know what? It's so funny because I love that part. Mel didn't even take the bait. She was like, she admits that they met, but it wasn't on no fanfare.
And she said, okay, also what was different about what Sheree said was Sheree made it seem like it was her event, and Mel kind of drove there for her. But Mel said that it was an event that she was a speaker at.
Right.
So they were both there kind of like as a talent. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like she drove there because Sheree was going to be there and it was a book signing and she wanted
Right.
to sign her book. So it was that was a huge difference. And I said, let me clean this up for you
Let me
right
clean
quick.
this up for you. And then
Mhm.
Martell and Marceau arrive, and Mel gets up and leaves the building.
She's like, you want to see how fast I can get up out of here?
I said, Mel is really, I'm not mad at her. She done set her boundaries. She is protecting her energy. I ain't mad at it.
Mhm.
So now Lewis pulls Martell and Marceau outside about them
Actually,
confront.
it was them that pulled him outside.
Oh, well, that's true. About them confronting Tiffany, and Lewis wants to know what was said. But when they explain, Lewis is more concerned about the her being a Karen part, and just two men addressing a woman. And Lewis wants a definition for them. So they seem to be like laughing at him because they're like, you can't be serious. Everybody knows what a Karen is. Like, so of course Marceau has to break down his definition for him. And then, he basically tries to go on to tell Martell that he realizes that, Tiffany may have misspoke or said some things that maybe she shouldn't have said, but she really didn't mean no harm. And I said the gaslighting of it all.
Marcel said,
Boy,
stop it.
stop.
Boy, stop.
Right. He was like, stop playing with me, sir.
Right
Um,
up in
and,
my face.
and so then, Lewis is getting upset that Marceau is even involved. So he's like, well, next time there's an issue, I'm gonna check your wife. So then
Oh, I don't understand that though. You're upset that Marceau is involved, but your wife is out here involving herself in business she doesn't have anything to do with because she's associated with Martell, but so is Marceau. I'm confused. That would have been the first thing that came out my mouth.
I don't know. They just
You're mad
always,
that I'm involved, but your wife got involved in something that has nothing to do with her.
but I'm with Mark. The reason why I love Marceau because I think he's always called out Lewis and Tiffany for this, but they just really seem to like live in their own world where they think that the things that they do are.
Oh, I was about to say, if they lived in their own world, they probably wouldn't be having half these conversations.
Yeah,
They
no,
don't.
but I mean in their minds, in their household, like how they, because even she came home and explained it to him, he was like, "Well, why did you say that?" But he was like smiling, like laughing at her, like, "Oh, why did you say that?" You know what I mean? It wasn't like, "All
He's
right,
like, you
babe."
said that.
I felt that way. Like I don't felt like it was a more, not saying he's supposed to reprimand her, but be like, "All right, babe, you being messy." You know what I
She
mean?
also didn't say everything that was said. That's the only thing that she said that was said. And then she named everything that they said to her.
Right. So I don't know. But anyway, the guys end up, Maurice comes out. They end up able to, talk it out. And basically, Lewis is like, next time there's an issue, please address me. And they end on a good note. And even Marceau says, I feel for you, man, because you got to, you the one married to her.
You got to fix that.
Right. So, yeah. And then that was pretty much it. While Tiffany is inside going through it, she's not feeling so hot. Stormy is up there just trying to, be of aid. She's claiming she's dizzy, lightheaded. And then Lewis walks in and, she's just,
She goes from crocodile tears to full blown out exaggeration.
do you think it's exaggeration?
Before she was, as soon as Lewis walked in, it was
Don't do that. I thought that could be hormones. She's late in her pregnancy. Don't do that. All right, y'all. But that was pretty much the episode. Hopefully, obviously, we know Tiffany is gonna be okay, baby Ace is gonna be okay, but they gave us a little bit of a scare and put us on a cliffhanger. But yeah, no, and then I think next episode, was there anything really juicy next episode? Not for real that I saw, no
I
previews.
think it's just the baby stuff.
Yeah, none really. But yeah, y'all, we appreciate you tuning in to the review. If you have not already, please make sure that you hit that like button,
You comment
you subscribe,
and you hit the notification bell.
and make sure you're following us on all the platforms, the TikTok, the IG, the Twitter, and the Facebook. And we will catch you next week for another review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.